in Canto, 9th chapter, 36 verse. Prabhupada has justified Chaturshloki Bhagavatam verses retrieving the quotations from different scriptures. They're very important. And in this way, we have to also spend good time in understanding the quotations. Now, 36th verse goes, a person who is reaching after the supreme truth must certainly search up for it up to this in all circumstances, in all places, both directly, indirectly.
माता जी प्लीज अप टू दिस वापस एक बार समझा दीजिए ना. अप टू दिस मीन्स व्हाट?
Let us see all again from the beginning. Then only you will understand this. First is what? I am the creator, right? So up to this refers to what? Understanding that I am the creator. From that it starts. From there up to this. So he is the creator, right? Then afterwards, Lord says, whatever you see wonderful, if you don't connect this in relation to me, then it is only a waste of time. Again, up to this. That means see splendor. When you see a splendor, understand it is my vibhuti. Yadyat vibhuti vatsatam srimad vijikam eva. So up to this again there. Then 35th verse speaks about the universal elements. They enter at the same time. They do not enter. Lord is there within and without. Again up to this. That means all these aspects has to be understood very nicely. And one must search up to this object, up to this, either directly or indirectly. That means when we see a creation, we can see sometimes the direct hand of Lord, sometimes indirectly. And then when we see something very glorious, so we can see, oh, how Krishna has given the energy to that person to make it so glorious. Now there is an artist. You cannot say directly Krishna has done that. But Krishna has given that art to that person to do that. Somebody has done, now directly if you go and say you have not done, Krishna has done, you feel very bad, isn't it? And it's not like somebody is making chapati and you say, you know, Lord has made chapati. What you made or what? Again, this is unfair also. Like you tell an artist this drawing is not yours. Bichara, he has done whole day, whole 1 month he spent in doing a nice drawing, and you say it is not your art. The Lord who has done that. Yes, Lord is doing remote, immediate, cause. This cause has to be understood properly. One is immediate, one is intermediate, one is remote. There is somebody who is intermediate also. That also you cannot forget. Like you are eating the grains. There is an intermediate cause also. There is a gross elements of the intermediate cause. There is a remote cause. There is a direct cause. So up to this, when you see, you are searching that Lord. That means you are searching the cause of everything. The searching Lord means what? We are searching Lord. We are searching the cause of all. Even if we search also, with our eyes we cannot see. Only when we are anointed with that prema, that is why Guru Bhakti, why Acharyas are given. Acharyas are required, Guru is required to give that premanjana churita bhakti vilochane. So that is how we can search both directly, indirectly. Refers means what? We as a sadhaka cannot search directly. We can search indirectly through the medium of our Acharyas, Guru Shishya Parampara. Only a self-realized soul can see everything directly. Parshadas can see everything directly. Ya tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevya upadakshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. He is a tattvadarshi. Spiritual master is a tattvadarshi. He can see everything directly. We fools cannot understand. We are just sadhakas. So we cannot see our own back. What we are going to see, Lord? We have not yet come out of Janma Mukti Jara Vyadhi. Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. That is there by Acharyas. Our Guru has seen this Dukkha Doshanu Darshan. That is why he is never bewildered. Our Guru Maharaj, on 4th Ekadashi day, he asked for a coconut water and he asked for a clicker. After that, he went in ventilator. Just see, that means he knows they are Guru Drishti. That is why they are not bewildered. He asked for the clicker and he asked for Nariyal Pan. He went in ventilator. Actually, ventilator is only an artificial means of pumping. So, anyhow, Ekadashi, Dwadashi doesn't matter for Guru Acharya, but the day is so wonderful. So that is how they can see the truth and they are not bewildered. They are not scared. But for us, the very thought itself is so scary, isn't it? So that is why self-realized souls see God directly. They can understand the power of Lord directly. Sadhakas can see it indirectly. That means through the medium of our acharyas. When they, by their cosmic mercy, open our eyes, we can see hand of Lord in each and every step. We can see the hand of Lord, how He guides us. It's only by the mercy of our spiritual master. Okay? So the translation is very clear. Now, for making us understand more clearly, Srila Prabhupada has given a big purpose, huge, giant purpose. Okay, Vrindavan Lila Mataji, you read till your time.
Hare Krishna. एतावत् एव्य जिज्ञास्यं तत्त्व जिज्ञासुनात्मनः अन्वया व्यतिरेकाभ्यां यत्स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा. A person who is searching after the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, must certainly search for it up to this, in all circumstances, in all space and time, and both directly and indirectly. Purport: to unfold the mystery of Bhakti Yoga, as it is explained in the previous verse, is the ultimate stage of all inquiries, or the highest objective for the inquisitive. Everyone is searching after self-realization in different ways, by Karma Yoga, by Jnana Yoga, by Dhyana Yoga, by Raja Yoga, by Bhakti Yoga, etc. To engage in self-realization is the responsibility of every living entity developed in consciousness. One who is developed in consciousness certainly makes inquiries into the mystery of the self, of the cosmic of the cosmic situation, and of the problems of life in all spheres and fields: social, political, economic, cultural, religious, moral, etc., and in their different branches. But here the goal of all such inquiries is explained. The Vedanta Sutra philosophy begins with the inquiry about life, and the Bhagavatam answers such inquiries up to this point, or the mystery of all inquiries. Lord Brahma wanted to be perfectly educated by the personality of Godhead, and here is the answer by the Lord, finished in our 4 nutshell verses. From Aham Eva to this verse, Etavad. This is the end of all self-realization process. Men do not know that the ultimate goal of life is Vishnu, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, due to being bewildered by the glaring reflection in the darkness. And as such, everyone is entering into the darkest region of material existence, driven by the uncontrolled senses. The whole material existence has sprung up because of sense gratification, desires based principally on the sex desire, and the result is that, in spite of all advancement of knowledge, the final goal of all activities put before a bona fide spiritual master, expert in the science of Bhakti Yoga, or from a living personality of Bhagavatam life. Everyone is engaged in various kinds of scriptural inquiries, but the Srimad Bhagavatam gives answer to all of the various students of self-realization. This ultimate objective of life is not to be searched out without great labor or perseverance. One who is imbued with such sincere inquiries must ask the bona fide spiritual master in the disciplic succession from Brahmaji. And that is the direction given here. Because the mystery was disclosed before Brahmaji by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the mystery of all such inquiries regarding self-realization must be put before such a spiritual master who is directly the representative of the Lord, acknowledged in the disciplic succession. Such a bona fide spiritual master is able to clear up the whole thing by evidence from the revealed scriptures, both direct and indirect. Although everyone is free to consult the revealed scriptures in this connection, one still requires the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, and that is the direction in this verse. The bona fide spiritual master is the most confidential representative of the Lord, and one must receive direction from the spiritual master in the same spirit that Brahmaji received it from the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. The bona fide spiritual master in that bona fide chain of disciplic succession never claims to be the Lord himself. Although such a spiritual master is greater than the Lord in the sense that he can deliver the Lord by his personally realized experience, the Lord is not to be found simply by education or by a good fertile brain, but surely he can be found by the sincere student through the transparent medium of the bona fide spiritual master. The revealed scriptures give directions directly to this end, but because the bewildered living entities are blinded by the glaring reflection in the darkness, they are unable to find the truth of the revealed scriptures. For example, in the Bhagavad Gita, the whole direction is targeted towards the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. But for want of a bona fide spiritual master in the line of Brahmaji or the direct hearer, Arjun, there are different distortions of the revealed knowledge by many unauthorized persons who just want to satisfy their own whims. Undoubtedly, the Bhagavad Gita is accepted as one of the most brilliant stars in the horizon of the spiritual sky. Yet the interpretations of this great book of knowledge have so grossly been distorted that every student of the Bhagavad Gita is still in the same darkness of glaring material reflections. Such students are hardly enlightened by the Bhagavad Gita. In the Gita, practically the same instruction is imparted as in the four prime verses of the Bhagavatam. But due to wrong and fashionable interpretations by such unauthorized persons, one cannot reach the ultimate conclusion. In the Bhagavad Gita 18.61, it is clearly said that Ishvara sarva bhutanam hirdeshu arjuna tishtati brahmayam sarva bhutani yantra rudhani mayaya.
Ramayan.
Yes, Mataji, I'm sorry. The Lord is situated in the heart of all living beings
The
as
first
per
quotation which has been put by Srila Prabhupada is Ishvara Sarvabhutana Nirdeshi Arjuna Tishtari Ramayan Sarvabhutani Yantam Dhani Maya. Because if you see in the third, you see the second one, third one, I exist in everything. Third one, I exist in everything. Isn't it? At the same time, I am outside of it. So that is why this verse has been. Why Prabhupada is putting this verse? You should always understand. Because Lord is seated in everyone's heart as Paramatma. As a Bhakti Vaibhav student, we should know why quotations are put by Srila Prabhupada. Okay.
The Lord is situated in the heart of all living beings as Paramatma, and he is controlling all of them in the material world under the agency of his external energy. Therefore, it is clearly mentioned that the Lord is the supreme controller and that the living entities are controlled by the Lord. In the same Bhagavad Gita 18.65, the Lord directs as follows. Man mana bhava mat bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evashasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. It is clear from this verse of the Bhagavad Gita that the direction of the Lord is that one should be God-minded, a devotee of the Lord, a worshipper of the Lord, must offer all obeisances unto Lord Krishna. By so doing, the devotee will undoubtedly go back to Godhead, back to home.
Now, why this verse is put? To emphasize that Lord is a person. Lord is a person. Lord is staying in everyone's heart. So, Lord is a person can be understood only by direct worship of Him. So, Manmana, that is how the worship of Lord is taught by the Acharyas. Okay, from here, Aruna read.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Indirectly, it is said that the whole Vedic social construction of human society is so made that everyone acts as a part and parcel of the complete body of the Lord. The intelligent class of men or the Brahmanas are situated on the face of the Lord. The administrative class of men, the Kshatriyas, are situated on the arms of the Lord. The productive class of men, the Vaishyas, are situated in the belt of the Lord, and the labor class of men, the Shudras, are situated on the legs of the Lord. Therefore, the complete social construction is the body of the Lord, and all the parts of the body, namely the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras, are meant to serve the Lord's whole body conjointly. Otherwise, the parts become unfit to be coordinated with the supreme consciousness of oneness. Universal consciousness is factually achieved by coordinated service of all concerned to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that alone can ensure total perfection. Therefore, even the great scientists, the great philosophers, the great mental speculators, the great politicians, the great industrialists, and the great social reformers, etc., cannot give any release to the restless society of the material world because they do not know the secret of success as mentioned in this verse of Bhagavatam, namely that one must know the mystery of Bhakti Yoga. The Bhagavad Gita 7.15 also it is said, Namam Dushtritino Mudha Prapatyante Naradamaha Mayaya Parhata Jnana Asuram Bhava Mashritaha.
What type of people
Because
cannot surrender to Lord? So somebody says, I want to. A fourth type of people cannot search me. Simple. Four type of people cannot search me, cannot know me because they are tushpatis. Okay.
because the so-called great leaders of the human society are ignorant of this great knowledge of Bhakti Yoga and are always engaged in ignoble acts of sense gratification, bewildered by the external energy of the Lord. They are stubborn rebels against the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they never agree to surrender unto Him because they are fools, miscreants, and the lowest type of human beings. Such faithless non believers may be highly educated in the material sense of the term, but factually they are the greatest fools of the world because by the influence of the external material nature, all their so-called acquisition of knowledge has been made null and void. Therefore, all advancement of knowledge in the present context of things is being misused by cats and dogs fighting with one another for sense gratification, and all acquisition of knowledge in science, philosophy, fine arts, nationalism, economic development, religion, and great activities are being spoiled by being used as dresses for dead men. There is no utility in the dresses used for covering a coffin of the dead body, save getting false applause from the ignorant public. The Srimad Bhagavatam, therefore, says again and again that without attachment to the status of Bhakti Yoga,
The
all,
attainment.
huh, all activities of the human society are to be, without attainment of the status of Bhakti Yoga, all the activities of human society are to be considered absolute failures only.
Kripana has been given. Kripana means one who is wasting time like cats and dogs. I and mine. Gyan. So here, without Bhakti Yoga, all the activity are just failures, absolute failures. One has no love for Krishna, one has no love for the Guru Parampara. What is the use? We cannot love Lord directly. We can only love through a spiritual master. If we don't have Bhakti, if we don't have service, then all our attempts in this material world is just a big failure. One may be a very expert singer, one may be a very expert manager, whatever it may be. If we don't have love for a spiritual master, everything is just a waste of. So now here, next quotation which has been given. There is also about a person who has not achieved self-realization, one who is blind to self-realization, doesn't want to know who am I. Read, Runa, continue.
Prabhavastavat abodha jato yavan जिज्ञासत आत्मतत्त्वं यावत् क्रियास्तावत् इदं मनो वै कर्मात्मकं येन शरीरबन्धः. As long as one is blind to inquiring after self realization, all material activities, however great they may be, are all different kinds of defeat, because the aim of human life is not fulfilled by such unwanted and profitless activities. The function of the human body is to attain freedom from material bondage, but as long as one is fully absorbed in material activities, his mind will be overwhelmed in the whirlpool of matter, and thus he will continue to be engaged in material bodies life after life. एवं मन कर्म वासम प्रयुङ्क्ते अविद्यायात्मनि उपाधीयमाने प्रीतिर्न यावान् मयि वासुदेवे न नमुच्यते देह योगेन तावत्.
Now,
Bhagavatam 5.5.6.
what are the difficulties which is faced by different types of bodies? That has been given. So all these sufferings are happening, and it is indeed entangling us in this material life.
It is one's mind that generates different kinds of bodies for suffering different kinds of material pangs. Therefore, as long as the mind is absorbed in fruitive activities, mind is understood to be absorbed in nescience, and thus one is sure to be subjected to material bondage in different bodies again and again, until one develops a transcendental love for Godhead, Vasudeva, the Supreme Person. To become absorbed in the transcendental name, quality, form, and activities of the Supreme Person, Vasudeva, means to change the temper of the mind from matter to absolute knowledge, which leads one to the path of absolute realization, and thus frees one from the bondage of material contact and engagements in different material bodies. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada.
To become absorbed in the transcendental name qualities, Vasudeva means to change the temper of the mind from matter to absolute. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. Takes thousands and thousands of lifetimes to change the temper of the mind from matter to absolute. That means Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. स्थावर जंगम देखे न देखे तार मुक्ति सर्वत्र होए निज इष्ट देव स्फूर्ति. What is the meaning? Whatever you are seeing around, sthavara, jangama, immovable, movable, for whom you are seeing in that, sarvatra hoye nija ishtadeva smriti. You are seeing your nija ishtadeva. That is, you are seeing Lord in everything. And how is the connection to that? Bahunam janmanam ante. Because Vasudeva, Vishuddha Sattvam Vasudeva Shabditam, that person. Sarvamiti Vasati Vasudevaha. Vasati iti sarvatraha Vasudevaha. He is the same person who is there in everyone's heart. He is the same person who is there in each and every molecule of this material world. So that is why directly, indirectly trying to reach Lord. So that this is. So Vasudeva, just by understanding this Vasudeva, one changes his temper from matter to spirit. There that verse comes. Stavara jangama dekhi na dekhe taramuti sarvatra hoy nijishta devasmriti. And this word Vasudeva is given by to understand Vasati iti sarvatra Vasudeva. He is present in everything. Sarvamiti Vasati Vasudeva. There is not a place where he is not there. Okay. Now from here, Raksha Mataji read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada therefore comments on the words Sarvatra Sarvada in the sense that the principles of Bhakti Yoga or devotional service to the Lord are apt in all circumstances, like that is, Bhakti Yoga is recommended in all the revealed scriptures. It is performed by all authorities. It is important in all places. It is useful in all causes and effects, etc. As far as all the revealed scriptures are concerned, he quoted from the Skanda Purana on the topics of Brahma and Narada as follows. संसारे स्मिहाघोरे जन्म मृत्यु समाकुले पूजनं वासुदेवस्य तारकं वादिभिः स्मृतम्. In the material world, which is full of darkness and dangers, combined with birth and death and full of different anxieties, the only way to get out of the great entanglement of is to accept loving transcendental devotional service to the Lord Vasudeva. This is accepted by all the classes of philosophers. Srila Jiva Goswami also quoted another common passage which is found in three Puranas, namely the Padma Purana, Skanda Purana, and the Linga.
Saying quoted, Prabhupada writes quotes. There's a lot of difference. When you say quoted means ho gaya. Quotes means Acharyas is still present.
Yes.
See, it's not quoted, it is quotes. So, Jiva Goswami also quotes another common passage, which is found in three Puranas, Padma, Skanda, and the Linga Purana. What is that? Alodya Sarva Shastrani. Read it. Read it. Alodya.
आलोल्यं सर्वशास्त्राणि विचार्य च पुनः पुनः इदमेकं सुनिष्पन्नं ध्येयो नारायण सदा. By scrutinizingly reviewing all the revealed scriptures and judging them again and again, it is now concluded that Lord Narayana is the supreme absolute truth and thus he alone should be worshipped. The same truth is also indirectly described in the Garuda Purana as follows. Parangato.
From here, Bindu, read.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
By scrutinizingly reviewing all the revealed scriptures and judging them again and again, it is now concluded that Lord Narayana
Mataji, it is different.
Over.
The
That's
same
over.
truth is also.
Oh no, she's only reading 4 lines more. Yeah.
Now read this. Param Gatopi Vedana.
Okay. Param gatopi vedanam sarvashastratha vedyapi yo na sarvesvara bhaktas tam vidyat purushadhanam dhamanam. Even though one may have gone to the other side of all the Vedas, and even though one is well versed in all the revealed scriptures, if one is not a devotee of the Supreme Lord, he must be considered the lowest of mankind. Similarly, it is also stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 5.18.12 indirectly as follows.
Gita, we have studied this verse. Yasya Bhakti Bhavati Akinchana. Sarve Gunis Tapta Samasati Surahara Bhakta Sarto Bahuguna Manorathena Asadi Dhavato.
One who has unflinching devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead must have all the good qualities of the demigods. And contrarily, one who is not a devotee of the Lord must be hovering in the darkness of mental speculation and thus must be engaged in the material impermanence. Srimad Bhagavatam.
So what has been given? If a person is very well versed in the Vedas, what is the use? If he is not a devotee, no use. On the other hand, if a person has unflinching faith in Krishna, he has all the wonderful qualities. Somebody may have wonderful qualities, but has no love for Krishna, then there is no use. Now, Prabhupada is going to this aspect. What is required? Knowledge of Vedas without Krishna, without having faith in Krishna, useless. You don't know anything, but you have unflinching faith in Lord. That is enough. So, before that, you see, in 3 Puranas, it has been given that Narayana is everything. He is the Supreme Lord. And before that, what was there? One who is in darkness. The only way to come out of it is to worship Vasudeva. So slowly now, Prabhupada is emphasizing on kinchana, because indirectly, you want to see indirectly also you should have kinchana bhakti. Without akinchana bhakti, it is impossible. Continue.
Srimad Bhagavatam 11.11.18 says, Shabda Brahmani Nishnato Na Nishnayat Pare Yadi Shramastasya Shrama Phalo Yad Yadheno Iva Rakshatah. One may be well versed in all the transcendental literature of the Vedas, but if he fails to be acquainted with the Supreme, then it must be concluded that his education is like the burden of a beast, or like one's keeping a cow without milking capacity. Similarly, the liberty of discharging loving transcendental service to the Lord is invested in everyone, even the woman, the Shudras, the forest tribes, or any other living being born in sinful conditions. Te vai vidyantati taranti cha deva mayam त्रिशूद्रहूणा शबरा अपि पापजीवः यद्यद्भुत कर्म परायण
Krama, Parayana, Krama it is. Adbhuta Krama.
यद्भुत क्रम परायण शिका शिक शिक्षा
Shila,
शिक्षा
Shila, Shas.
शिक्षा शील शिक्षा त्रयजना अपि किं सुत धारणये. Bhagavatam 2.7.46. The lowest of human beings can be elevated to the highest stage of devotional life if they are trained by the bona fide spiritual master, well versed in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. If the lowest can be so elevated, then what to speak of the highest, who are well versed in the Vedic knowledge? The conclusion is that devotional service to the Lord is open for all, regardless of who they are. That is the confirmation of its application for all kinds of performers of the service. Therefore, the devotional service to the Lord with perfect knowledge through the training of a bona fide spiritual master is advised for everyone, even if one happens not to be a human being. This is confirmed in the Garuda Purana as follows.
1 minute. Garuda Purana says, read.
कीटपक्षी मृगाणां च हरौ संन्यासत चेतसाम् ऊर्ध्वम् एव गतिं मन्ये किं पुनर्ज्ञानिनां नृणाम्. Even the worms, birds, and beasts are assured of elevation to the highest perfectional life if they are completely surrendered to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So, what to speak of the philosophers amongst the human beings? Therefore, there is no need to seek properly qualified candidates for discharging devotional service to the Lord. Let them be either well behaved or ill trained. Let them be either learned or fools. Let them be either grossly attached or in the renounced order of life. Let them be liberated souls or desirous of salvation. Let them be inexpert in the discharge of devotional service or expert in the same. All of them can be elevated to the supreme position by discharging devotional service under the proper guidance. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.30 and 32 as follows. Api cheta sudacharo bhajate mam anya
Bhag.
bhak sadhureva sa mantavya
Samyak Vyavasito
hi sah mam hi partha vyapashritya yepi syupapayo naya kshatriyo vaishyas tata shudras tepi yanti param gatim. Even if a person is fully addicted to all sorts of sinful acts, if he happens to be engaged in the loving transcendental service of the Lord under proper guidance, he is to be considered the most perfect holy man without a doubt. And thus, any person, whatsoever and whosoever he or she may be, even the fallen woman, the less intelligent laborer, the dull mercantile man, or even a man lower than all these, can attain the highest perfection of life by going back home, back to Godhead, provided he or she takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord in all earnestness. This sincere earnestness is the only qualification that can lead one to the highest perfectional stage of life. And unless and until such real earnestness is aroused, there is a difference between cleanliness or uncleanliness, learning or non-learning in the material estimation. Fire is always fire, and thus if someone touches the fire, knowingly or unknowingly, the fire will act in its own way without discrimination. The principle is Harir Harati Papani Tushta Chiter Api Smritaha. The all-powerful Lord can purify the devotee in all sinful reactions, but as the sun can sterilize all sorts of infections by its powerful rays, attraction for material enjoyment cannot act upon a pure devotee of the Lord. There are hundreds and thousands of aphorisms in the revealed scriptures. Atmaramas cha munyah stands of Atmaramas cha munyah. Even the self-realized souls are all attracted by the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Kechit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayanah. Simply by hearing and chanting, one becomes a great devotee of the Lord Vasudeva. Na chalati bhakti para padarvinda. Na chalati bhagvat padarvindal lavani mishara nishardham api sa Vaishnavargya. A person who does not move from the lotus feet of the Lord even for a moment or a second is to be considered the greatest of all Vaishnava. Bhagavad Prasada, Bhagavad Pras, pa, par, Bhagavad
Parashadatam
Parashadatam Prapte
Mattevaya Pratitam Te.
Te. The pure devotees are convinced of attaining the association of the personality of Godhead, and thus they are always engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Therefore, in all contents, in all planets, continents, in all planets, and in all universes, devotional service to the Lord or Bhakti Yoga is current, and thus is the statement of the Srimad Bhagavatam and allied scriptures. Everywhere means in every part of the creation of the Lord. The Lord can be served by all the senses or even simply by the mind. The South Indian Brahmana who served the Lord simply on the strength of his mind also factually realized the Lord. Success is guaranteed for a devotee who fully engages any one of his senses in the mood of devotional service. The Lord can be served by any ingredient, even the most common commodity, a flower, a leaf, a fruit, or a little water, which are available in any part of the universe and without cost. And thus, the Lord is served universally by the universal entities. He can be served simply by hearing. He can be served simply by chanting or reading about his activities. He can be served simply by adoring him and accepting him.
Accepting him. He can be served simply by adoring him. Accepting. He can be served by any ingredient from Vishnu Param Toyam. So in this way, Lord accepts everything, even from your mind, you can serve Lord. So big purpose for participant in this. Okay, from now, Vrindavan Mataji reads.
Hare Krishna. Let's make it. Hare Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that one can serve the Lord by offering the result of one's work. It does not matter what one does. Generally, men may say that whatever they are doing is inspired by God, but that is not all. One should actually work on behalf of God as a servant of God. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 9.27, Yat karoshi yat ashnasi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat purushva mad arpanam. Do whatever you like.
You should not actually not break the word, but arpanam. You should not say darpanam. The same way, yat karoshi yadashnashi. Yat ashnashi, you should not say yadashnashi.
Can you repeat, Mataji? How?
Yat karoshi yadashnashi. If you say yat ashnashi, that's not a proper way of pronunciation. Yadashnashi. A and the D, half D, should be together. Yad ashnashi. No, yadashnashi. The same way, mad arpanam nahi, madarpanam. While chanting, you should join it and chant.
Do whatever you like or whatever may be easier for you to do. Eat whatever you may eat. Sacrifice whatever you can sacrifice. Give whatever you may give in charity. And do whatever you may undertake in penance. But everything must be done for Him only. If you do business or if you accept some employment, do so on behalf of the Lord. Whatever you may eat, you may offer the same to the Lord. And be assured that He will return that food after eating it Himself. He is the complete whole, and therefore whatever he may eat as offered by the devotee is accepted because of the devotee's love. But again it is returned as prasad for the devotee so that he can be happy by eating. In other words, be a servant of God and live peacefully in that consciousness, ultimately returning home, back to Godhead. It is said in the Skand Puran, Yasa smritya cha namuktya tapo yagya kriyadishu Nunam sampurnatam eti sadhyo vande tamachyutam. I offer my obeisances unto him, the infallible, because simply by either remembering him or vibrating his holy name, one can attain the perfection of all penances, sacrifices, or fruitive activities. And this process can be universally followed. It is enjoined. Bhagavatam 2.3.10. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Though a person be full of desires or have no desires, he may follow this path of infallible bhakti yoga for complete perfection. One need not be anxious to propitiate each and every demigod and goddess because the root of all of them is the personality of Godhead. As by pouring water on the root of the tree one serves and enlivens all the branches and leaves, so by rendering service unto the Supreme Lord, one automatically serves God and Goddess without extraneous effort. The Lord is all-pervading, and therefore service unto Him is also all-pervading. This fact is corroborated in the Skanda Puran as follows. Archite deva deveshe shankha chakra gadadhare archita sarva devasyu yata sarvagato hari. When the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, who carries in his hands a conch shell, wheel, club, and lotus flower, is worshipped, certainly all other demigods are worshipped automatically, because Hari, the personality of Godhead, is all-pervading. Therefore, in all cases, namely nominative, objective, causative, dative, ablative, possessive, and supportive, everyone is benefited by such transcendental loving service to the Lord. The man who worships the Lord himself who is worshipped, the cause for which the Lord is worshipped, the source of supply, the place where worship is done, etc., everything is benefited by such an action. Even during the annihilation of the material world, the process of bhakti yoga can be applied. Kalena nashta pralaya vaniyam. The Lord is worshipped in devastation because he protects the Vedas from being annihilated. He is worshipped every millennium or yuga, as it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam 12.3.52. क्रीडे कृते यत् ध्यायतो विष्णुं त्रेतायां यजतो मकै द्वापरे परिचार्यायां कलौ तद्धरि कीर्तनात्. In the Vishnu Puran it is written, Sahanistad mahachidram samoha sacha vibramaha yan muhurtam kshanam vapi vasudevam na chintaye. If even for a moment remembrance of Vasudev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is missed, that is the greatest loss. That's the greatest illusion. And that is the greatest anomaly. The Lord can be worshipped in all stages of life. For instance, even in the wombs of their mothers, Prahlad Maharaj and Maharaj Parikshit worshipped the Lord. Even in his very childhood, at the age of only 5 years, Dhruv Maharaj worshipped the Lord. Even in full youth, Maharaj Ambarish worshipped the Lord. And even at the last stage of his frustration and old age, Maharaj Dhritarashtra worshipped the Lord. Ajamil worshipped the Lord even at the point of death. And Chitraketu worshipped the Lord even in heaven and in hell. In the Narsimha Puran, it is said that as the hellish inhabitants began to chant the holy name of the Lord, they began to be elevated from hell towards heaven. Durvasa Muni has also supported this view. Muchyate yan namani udite narako api. Simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, the inhabitants of hell became released from their hellish persecution. So the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam, as given by Shukadev Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit, is एतन्निर्विद्यमानानाम् इच्छतामकुतो भयम् योगिनां निर्पनिर्णीतम् हरेर्नामानुकीर्तनम्. O king, it is finally decided that everyone, namely those in the renounced order of life, the mystics, and the enjoyers of fruitive work, should chant the holy name of the Lord fearlessly to achieve the desired success in their pursuits. Bhagavatam 2.1.11. Similarly, as indicated indirectly in various places in revealed scriptures. First point, even though one is well versed in all the Vedas and scriptures, if one is not a devotee of the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, he is considered
So
to be the
someone goes
lowest
and
of mankind.
till now what Prabhupada has discussed, which points have been discussed, that has been given.
Yes.
Similarly, as indicated indirectly in various places in revealed scriptures, what has been given. If somebody is well versed in the Vedas but not a devotee, is lowest. Okay, Garuda Puran, what it says.
Second, in the Garuda Puran, Brihad Naradiya Puran, and Padma Puran, the same is repeated. What is the use of Vedic knowledge and penances for one who is devoid of devotional service to the Lord? Third, what is the comparison of thousands of Prajapatis to one devotee of the Lord? Fourth, Sukadev Goswami said, 2.4.17, that neither the ascetic, nor one who is greatly munificent, nor one who is famous, nor the great philosopher, nor the great oculist, nor anyone else can achieve the desired result without being engaged in the service of the Lord. Fifth, even if a place is more glorious than heaven, if there is no glorification of the Lord of Vaikuntha or his pure devotee, it should be at once be quitted. Sixth, the pure devotee refuses to accept all the 5 different types of liberation in order to be engaged in the service of the Lord. The final.
We have this. We have studied this. Sastri, Sarupya, Salupya, Samipya. Okay.
The final conclusion. Yes,
Samipya.
Mataji.
Read.
The final conclusion, therefore, is that the glories of the Lord must be always and everywhere proclaimed. One should hear about his glories, one should chant about his glories, and one should always remember his glories because that is the highest perfectional stage of life. As far as fruitive work is concerned, it is limited to an enjoyable body. As far as yoga is concerned, it is limited to the acquirement of mystic power. As far as empiric philosophy is concerned, it is limited to the attainment of transcendental knowledge. And as far as transcendental knowledge is concerned, it is limited to attainment of salvation. Even if they are adopted, there is every chance of discrepancies in discharging the particular type of functions. But adoption of the transcendental devotional service of the Lord has no limit, nor is there fear of falling down. The process automatically reaches the final stage by the grace of the Lord. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, there is an apparent requisite for knowledge, but in the higher stage, there is no necessity of such knowledge. The best and guaranteed path of progress is therefore engagement in Bhakti Yoga, pure devotional service. The cream of Srimad Bhagavatam in the foregoing 4 shlokas is sometimes squeezed out by the impersonalists for different interpretations in their favor. But it should be carefully noted that the four shlokas were first described by the personality of Godhead himself. And thus, the impersonalist has no scope to enter into them because he has no conception of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, the impersonalist may squeeze out any interpretations from them, but such interpretations will never be accepted by those who are taught in the disciplic succession from Brahma, as will be cleared up in the following verses. Besides that, the Shruti confirms that the supreme truth, absolute personality of Godhead, never reveals himself to anyone who is falsely proud of his academic knowledge. The Shruti mantra clearly says, Katha Upanishad 1:2.23. Nayam, Nayam,
न मेधया न बहुना श्रुतेन त्वमेव ईश्वरेण Yes, the same Atma Viditam Swa. This verse is very important. By our own endeavor, Nayam Atma Pravachan Labdes. We may give so many classes. Not necessary that Lord should reveal himself. Na medhaya na bahuna shutena. By our intelligence, we can never know it. Na bahuna shutena. We may hear thousands of lectures. Yameva Isha Vradatin Devalaptis. Yameva Isha Vradatin Laptis. That means to whoever I have selected. Rasya Shatma Viditam Swam. It is up to me to whom I have to reveal myself. We have to just try out. We are just following the path of the Mahajanas, path of our Acharyas. Whoever Anugraha is there, simple. We cannot demand. So demanding cannot happen in the mercy. We cannot demand mercy. We can wait for mercy. Tattenu Kampakam Sunikshama. So we can only wait for mercy. We cannot demand mercy. I think that is how it ends. You read the last one, the little man explained.
The whole matter is explained by the Lord himself, and one who has no approach to the Lord as a personal feature can rarely understand the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam without being taught by the Bhagavatas in the disciplic succession. Hare Krishna.
So four things have been taught. Lord is the creator. Whatever you see, everything, you cannot see anything separate from Lord. Lord is there in everything, at the same time Lord is outside. And then one can search Lord either directly or indirectly. One has to search up to this point. Which point? That he is a creator. He is there in everything. Whatever we see around, there is only his splendor. So Lord is there, at the same time Lord is outside, inside, outside. Okay, so that ends this very purpose. And the same will start with the 37th verse. Then there are small purports, but it is Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. Sir Prabhupada has given different quotations from different places. But this is the summum bonum of the whole Bhagavatam. Whole Bhagavatam speaks about the creation, about its opulence, how Lord is everything, how Lord should be attained, directly, indirectly. Indirectly also refers to what? By the service. Without service, impossible to attain. Even though one may be a very wonderful scholar of the Vedas, he cannot be known. He can be known only by service. Okay. So here we stop. Any questions?
हरे कृष्ण माताजी, दंडवत प्रणाम. सो वंडरफुल चतुर्श्लोकी भागवतम माताजी. माताजी तो मतलब सबको तत्व जिज्ञासा होनी ही चाहिए. देयर मस्ट बी तत्व जिज्ञासा. 11th श्लोका, कामस्य इंद्रियाणि प्रीति जीवित लाभो यावताहो, है ना माताजी?
अगर वो नहीं है, तत्व जिज्ञासा नहीं है, तो इट्स लाइफ इज वेस्टेड.
माताजी शुरू से ही नहीं करेंगे अभी तो लास्ट में कहाँ कर पाएंगे कुछ.
स्टेज में आप
शुरू से नहीं करेंगे तो
जिस स्टेज में हम भक्ति चालू कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि हमने कितने जन्म करके अभी इस स्टेज में आए, तो हम लोग पहले क्यों नहीं किए? बोल सकते हैं उस लाइफ में क्यों? ओके, इन दिस लाइफ टाइम, even at the age of 80 years, somebody is eager to know about Lord. No? Somebody can ask them, why you did not do in the last generation? Is this the beginning? Is my birth in this world is the beginning? I don't know when I came in this world. time immemorial. I forgot, Lord. In this lifetime, okay, for some time in this body, I forgot. The time somebody makes me remember now. Take it.
Mataji, these 4 verses were directly spoken by the Lord to Brahmaji. So he spoke only these 4 verses and Brahmaji could understand it so
Expanded.
nicely.
Tene Brahmagaya Adi Kaviye. This is knowledge which Lord gave to Brahma. We and the one thing Lord did not show. What is that? Sweetness. The sweet dealings of his with Vrajavasis. That is where we and the. But Tene Brahmagaya Adi Kaviye is this Brahma Jnana. To whom? Adi Kaviye. That is Brahma.
Mataji, I have a question. Can I ask? Verse 36 only, Mataji, second paragraph. In the second paragraph, ending say 4th or 5th line, it says the bona fide spiritual master is that bona fide chain of disciplic succession, never claims to be Lord himself, although such a spiritual master is greater than the Lord in the sense that he can deliver Lord by his personally realized experience. He can deliver Lord. Mataji, what is the meaning? I have not understood.
He can deliver Lord by his.
He can deliver Lord by his personally realized experience. He'll deliver Lord, Mataji. I have not understood.
Lord in his heart.
Huh?
Here I think deliver means the second meaning, not the deliver what we understand to deliver a
Finding Lord
person.
within the heart. He
Means-
can deliver, give Lord.
Yes, giving up.
Okay. Understood.
What
Okay.
is
Clear.
real Diksha? Diksha means transferring, like Vasudev gave to Vasudev gave to Devaki.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you,
Bind
Mataji.
also give us.
Thanks. Thank you. Understood. I got
English is
so
a very
confused.
complicated language.
While
तो
reading itself, I
माताजी
got so
माताजी
confused.
मायावादी जो होते हैं माताजी, तो वो ये सब श्लोका को कैसे इंटरप्रेट करते हैं? इतने डायरेक्टली बताया है कि
पढ़ने को
भगवान
समय
ने
नहीं
बोला।
है इतना पढ़ने को समय नहीं
वो लोग स्टडी नहीं करते ये सब, भागवतम वगैरह करते होंगे?
उनको राइट्स नहीं है पढ़ेंगे तो भी उनको समझ में नहीं आया इसलिए भागवतम इज द सब्जेक्ट ऑफ ओनली डिवोटीज एंड इवन इफ दे रीड आल्सो दे नॉट अंडरस्टैंड इसलिए उनको ज्यादा रास में इंटरेस्ट है रास में चले जाते
10th canto, डायरेक्ट 10th canto.
लेकिन मायावाद तो पूरा it hasn't gone from my heart also, Mataji, though I'm making an effort. It's so deep rooted in us.
Yeah, Mayavad, somebody asked Prabhupada, where are Mayavadis? Prabhupada said, look at yourself. So, it's a very, we may think, but at least we are trying to come out. That's it. We are trying to come out by serving God. But still, complete conviction, God is person. God is within us. It's still complete conviction has to come. That is what Acharyas are trying to invite in us. Okay.
We are so fortunate, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Today was specially
Prabhupada
wonderful.
की जय. Superb. हरि बोल. अरे भाई